Good evening. Welcome to the Too Much Time on Our Hands podcast. Everybody wake up, look down, and you're back in the room. Welcome. It's three of us tonight. Tom is just he got into a hole of painting his kill team, and he's barely come up for breath since. And when he finds out you can 3D print stuff,
what went for?
and we're never going to see him again. So this evening we've got Her Duncan. That way. This is the bit where you say hello.
Hi. Hello.
Hello.
I don't know how to follow that with going Her Duncan, Hurrus. Hi Hurrus.
No, he's
hi,
not him. Not
Heretic.
And we've got Herdan down there.
Blood for the blood god, Russ. Skulls for the skull's throne.
That sounds like
Lionel
really
Johnson models for the skull.
really loses its threat when that becomes just like a casual, like, yeah, how you doing? Good to see you type greeting. But I guess, even in the most feverish of chaotic cults, there's somebody's got to do the
Speaking of which, if you want to, I'm selling like 6 Lionel Johnson models on eBay for about 200 quid. So get in there fast.
Just considering getting a blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull's throne mug for work.
You should do it.
Really sends a signal,
like
doesn't it?
For actual while you're in the office. Yeah, it does. Yeah, you're really gonna.
Just when you're leaning
do you
over
know what
somebody's
would be
shoulder
really
looking at their TPS reports.
One of those heat-sensitive mugs, so that it actually starts off with just when it's cold, it's skulls for the skull throne, and then when you put your coffee or hot
just
drink in, it
light-hearted,
becomes
isn't
blood
it,
for the
on its
blood.
own?
Yeah, it's totally fine.
Get an Inquisition one with innocence proves nothing on it.
Yeah.
Personal favourite.
Innocence proves nothing.
Personal favourite quote from 40k is that the Inquisition one, innocence proves nothing.
Yeah.
Fucking love it.
We believe
they
you.
decide
We
you're
believe you.
guilty.
We
You're
absolutely
fucking
believe
guilty.
you. But just to be on the safe side.
We're gonna talk the fuck out of you.
So, in case you haven't guessed, we've regressed into nerdy little 17-year-olds again, and we all seem to have sort of fallen quite deeply back into Games Workshop's sweaty embrace. Bam, nice. And
I think it's a Space Marine, but you'd be wrong. It's a knight. Actually,
we've all been quite excited to see some of the stuff coming out of Warhammer Fest 23. One of the things I really enjoyed is Warhammer Fest is in the same venue that my work conference was at. So I've been in all those places, but it's full of people talking about synergies and efficiencies, and now it's full of people yelling at each other over a kill team tournament, which is quite enjoyable.
Weirdly, son of
That was unexpected.
Sorry.
So your work is almost as big as Games Workshop. That's quite good.
I mean, in terms of like number of people that went in the room, yeah, but I think there's very little to connect the two. Otherwise, I don't think we could get away with having a 15-foot tall Space Marine in the car park. It would raise more questions than it answered.
I am I am a fan of all the cosplay I saw this weekend. Like, we make it sound like we went literally living variously through the ground here. Like, it's
doing it the best way, looking at it on the website.
Yeah, but it all looked very, very cool, and it's nice to see like people that like you see on YouTube videos all in the same area as well. I've recently started listening to or watching Peachy's videos as well, which is nice.
Oh right, yeah.
He was at the war game that was in the Excel Centre, I think, like the week before. So, but yeah, bit of that.
Nice.
Good. I'm going to talk. The stuff is gaining a little bit of action, weirdly enough, and it's not like not people out there talking about it on a daily basis more in depth than we are, and also know what they're thinking about. So we must bring some kind of level to this that people seem to like. So I think we'll talk about a bit of 40k and thinking at Warhammer Fest as well. And we should have the ratings at how much we like the model as well.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, the reason we get excited by that stuff is because it looks cool. It reminded us of something we had when we were 15, which is a pretty vital part of Games Workshop's appeal these days, seeing as their customers are the same people as they were in 1995, pretty much.
But, well, on the Warhammer community, which articles of it pop up quite regularly in my, like, the Chrome thing, when you open a new tab, it says, here's some news articles. You might be interested in what's happening on Warhammer community. They have done a 40th anniversary thing, and they've gone, this Skaven assassin is the deadliest character. And that's from 40 years of Warhammer. You're like, 40 years. Man. It's been in my life for a good 25 of it.
Yeah.
Like, it's difficult to remember when we were playing second edition, and we're going to be talking about 10th edition tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, 40k was in second edition when we started playing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And Warhammer was just Warhammer. It wasn't even the old world or Warhammer Fantasy Battles. It was just Warhammer. Warhammer.
Yeah, but you always called it. It was Warhammer, and then it was Warhammer 40k, wasn't it?
Yeah, but so like they're talking
fantasy.
about bringing back Warhammer Fantasy Battles with the old world. But that is still the one we were playing was before that. It was just Warhammer.
The old world is specifically targeted at mugs like us, because it's not. Age of Sigmar is all to do with new gamers. Old world is purely for us, because they're like, we're going to look at these old models and the old books, and then we're going to redesign them and just do them up so they're a bit smarter. So they've done one of the new Tomb Kings. It looks like just like a redone and revamped and better, smarter version of one of the original Tomb Kings kind of models. And the Bretonnian Paladin looks amazing, but it is directly out of like 1990.
The whole point of Old World, though, is because people have not stopped whinging for the last 7 years about Age of Sigmar and about how they've got things on square bases, and that's really unfair. Like, it genuinely exists because people whinge long enough that they can't get on with Age of Sigmar. But even though they've never played, like, says me as well. He's never played.
You're allowed to still play your old game. Like it's not like a new phone or something. They can't remotely nerf all the old models and make them stop working.
If they could, though.
If they could, they would, obviously. Yeah.
I mean, I know I've still got my. It must have been the new second edition. Or third edition, might have been third edition, Chaos, the beautiful box. But anyway,
Do you know how
Old World Paladin looks really
Old
cool.
World and Age of Sigmar impress me? This facial expression sum it up.
I need to go up in my parents' loft. I think there might be about 5,000 orcs up there.
You need to tell them.
World, but quite.
Yeah, I quite
like the idea of the fantasy. Kind of prefer the demons. Anyway,
anyway, so right.
Shall we start off with?
Let's have a look at some new shit, shall we?
Yeah.
So,
let's start off. Come on, Are we saving them for the last, or are we just gonna dive?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, you can't do stuff like this if we don't prepare anything. Like we genuinely don't know what you're talking about.
Well, this demonstrates that we are not like the hive mind. Unlike High Fleet Leviathan.
Oh right, yeah, okay, yeah. No, we'll save that. I mean, everyone's seen that anyway. Let's say that.
Yeah, but
let's start with.
We haven't publicly spunked about it yet.
We haven't, but we will. Don't worry, we'll get there. But let's start with what they're planning for Kill Team, because that's probably the thing that I'm most interested in at the moment. So, not talking about the new models and stuff, just the sort of the roadmap for what they're doing. So, Gallo Dark is the finale of season. It was just season
Gallo
1,
Fall,
wasn't it?
right?
Yeah, so Gallo Dark is the Gallo Fall series conclusions, all the spaceship sets.
Other way around.
ones.
Gallo Fall is the Gallo Dark series completely. Yeah.
That's it. Sorry, yes. Gallo
The idea
Fall
is the spaceships
Gallo
falling
Dark
down into
finale. So that's the Beastmen and Leagues of Votan box, which looks pretty good. I really like the Leagues of Votan team.
The only thing I'll say is I've watched enough battle reports on them to realise they seem to be an army designed for people that don't like rolling dice. So they've like numerous things that like automatic hit or automatic wound. It's like it's meant to be a dice game.
I mean, to be honest, how a team plays is a very little concern, but judging by how many games I'm actually going to get in, they're far more about the collecting. I really like the look of them. I like their vibe. I love that ATV vehicle thing they've got.
The new Secretariat, but that's not what it is it? Sagittarion or something like that.
Yeah, it's really all like the pipe work on the outside looks awesome. Looks like something out of Akira. It's great. So then they're doing a kind of a sort of little gentleman's intermission with the Ashes of Faith box, which looks a bit nice.
It really does, doesn't it?
So we'll have a look at that in a sec. But that, as far as I'm concerned, that's kind of just sort of off on its own. That's not part of the next season, so it's probably not too much of a clue as to what direction the setting's going in or anything.
It's absolutely no clue whatsoever. It's
a narrative campaign in a box, is how it's described.
Yeah, so I really like the way they've done that.
It's a return to Kill Team being everything you need box, except for scenery, of course, because this doesn't come with scenery.
Yeah.
But
I like the idea that
it comes with something like 40 models, 40 miniatures.
Yeah, because so if you're the Chaos team, you can kind of mutate as you go.
Yeah.
So what you might start with one model for a character who's just like Bob, and then by the end you're this 6-armed, 4-bollocked monster with flames coming out of his eyes.
Reading it did make me think of Resident Evil 4, like when you shoot the guys and suddenly they mutate and you get the chicken head and you shoot it again and it gets something else.
So I think that's broadly the idea. I don't think in one game, but between games you'll be like, oh, by the way, I've got another head now. Deal with that, motherfucker.
Really like that. And I like that with the Imperial agents you get to take like different models as well.
Yeah. So
that
looks really tight.
You get, yeah.
And then they're kind of
like,
they're wrapping up
Scions or whatever.
Yeah, and that's you're basically going to end up with an army if you have like Tempesta Scions, the Inquisitorial agents, the Rogue Traders, the Breachers, and you're going to end up with an army effectively.
It's basically Imperial agent.
That's really weird. Sorry, guys.
So that's coming out, and then they're kind of drawing a line under the season by just releasing all the boxes of the teams as individual sets, which is desperately needed. So you can finally get people like the Arbites, the Beastmen, the Leagues of Votan. Who else hasn't been?
Hopefully, all the little additions. You don't have to spend 150 quid a box just to play some of the missions from the books released in the row. So they did that with Shadowfall, I think it was. So like the little heavy bolter trailer, that kind of thing. They need to do that again. Put the pipes in it.
Ideally. And then it's on to the next season, which we've got not really much in the way of clues about, but I'm presuming it's going to go back to being sort of planet-based rather than on a spaceship again.
Well, it's meant to follow directly on from Gallowdark, isn't it?
Yeah, so, I'm guessing it's going to be whatever planet that ship crashes on is where you...
There was some indication that
Eldari.
Indication, yeah, the Eldari. Yeah. It's going to be in the next one. When it
Kill Team Manual is a nice little touch as well. So, like, Kill Team Manual will mean that like you don't have to buy individual books to play as like a particular faction. It'll just have all of the factions from last year in as well.
Yeah.
Which is really handy.
Yeah.
Eldari presence. Spotted or something. I can't exactly what it is.
Something like that, yeah. And they could do with a proper, because they don't actually have a proper kill team yet, do they? They've got compendium.
There's
teams.
no Craft Worlds one, is there? Although it's just the pirates, isn't it?
They're Corsairs, aren't they? So they're sort of they're more Drakari, aren't they?
Yeah. Corsairs are I think they are Craft World as well.
They are, but I've always found them a bit confusing. They're like Craft World Elder who fancy going around being a bit nasty for a bit.
I'd like to be able to do like I'm going to have a Strike Scorpion and I'm going to have like a Howling Banshee and a Fire Dragon and stuff like that. So,
well, that would be a Ynnari kill team, wouldn't it? where you can mix and match from all the different factions. So I think that is a distinct possibility. Duncan's buggered off. Never mind, dead weight anyway. It's just holding us back. I'm sure he'll be back with us in a minute. But yeah, that'd be quite cool, because the Inari is, as a faction, are quite cool, and they're I think they bring in something that the Eldar are lacking a bit, just sitting around in their big ass houses going all, it's all terrible, isn't it, Jocasta?
Oh shit, we fucked a god into existence, and he's fucking evil. They're fucking evil. Must make sure I get
just sitting around being all superior about everyone, and you lesser species you're completely ruining the galaxy. Oh, what should we be doing about then? Oh, I'm not going to tell you.
Fuck a god into existence like we did. Like they got no high ground.
No.
Like Slanesh exists because of them.
Yeah, although I mean, I'm fairly sure humanity would have managed to arrange it at some point anyway.
Well, they reckon humanity in 40k are feeding chaos gods the most, which leads into my theory that the Emperor is a chaos god. I think by humanity.
I think he, I don't know if they'd ever actually go that far, like, because that's real, like,
love it.
It's change in what is a completely stagnant, static universe. So, in my head, that's where it would end up, but I don't think they'll ever actually do it. Because then unless for some reason everyone stops getting interested in it, like Warhammer, and they're like, fuck it, nuke the whole place, start again,
like they did with Sigmar.
Yeah. Right, let's have
the Warhammer Heroes thing as well.
Yeah, it's pretty cool actually.
You were literally about to say that. Yeah.
I was going to bring up the Ashes of Faith box that we mentioned. He's back. This does look really nice. This box set, there's some absolutely awesome models in here. So we did talk about like an Inquisition kill team being a pretty good shout. As far as I can tell, there's no actual Inquisitor in this though. It's like
it's supposed to be like an Inquisitor or a henchman.
Yeah, it's an Inquisitor's entourage, and it's like you've got some options for how you build these people as well. So, like most, if you actually want all of these, you have to buy 2 of this box. But like,
loads of people coming from the Schola Progenium as well.
Yep. There's some really
people that
nice
made it out of the walls,
especially typewriter head dude, who's just phenomenal. Like, boss, I've got like this. If you need to sort of note stuff down, I've got this little pocket tape recorder. No, we will use the tortured soul of an old servant who's been strapped into a typewriter with legs, and he will write stuff out for us on a big scroll. You sure, boss? Because I've got like loads of tapes for this. It's fine. You can do 2 hours aside. No, typewriter guy. He will walk around behind us telling everyone what we've done. Absolutely.
Did you? A lot of them are based on the old Inquisitor models
from the RPG type thing.
The game equivalent Inquisitor.
Yeah, like really nice touch. So this looks like a really interesting box. When this team eventually becomes available on their own, I think that's a definite get, because there's just some really nice stuff in
Have you thought, Russ, about, instead of buying just loads of individual kill teams, about buying like a little boarding control or something instead?
Well, no, because I like the variety of the kill teams. I think I might accidentally have started building a Sisters of Battle army though, because of eBay.
Why? What have you bought?
A bunch of Repentia and Arco-Flagellants. I've got a Penitent Engine and 3 Paragon War
Oh my
suits.
god! Yeah, you don't see me doing that.
He says, I mean,
because
the other thing is that you can, with that Inquisitor kill team, you can Inquisition kill team, not Inquisitor. Inquisition kill team, you can match up with Battle Sister of Battle. Dan, honestly, no, you never.
Wait, is that 2 of the same box?
Yes.
Sell one of them.
Oh no, I wanted to double up. It's all right though, because I haven't got anything else. But they're not Space Marines, they're Grey Knights, I think you'll find. So, there's
The
that.
other thing that occurred to me the other day is I don't think I've ever painted a Space Marine. Ever. I've never collected
That's
Space
overrated.
Marines.
It's overrated. Space Marines are a bit wank.
They look quite easy to paint, to be honest. They're quite tempting.
I'll tell you what you can
It's
do.
amazing how easy it is to fuck them up.
Head down to your local GW. It's called Warhammer Shop now. And you can pick up a free Adeptus tees, I think. I don't know whether it started yet, but it's definitely soon. Miniature of the month, so.
Oh, nice. Sounds good. Right, let's have a look. What's next? Oh, yeah, this is good. So the old world stuff.
Ah!
Oh, it's reminiscey vibes.
It's not. I
Yeah,
never
but
play as.
The only ones that they're saying they're not releasing, they're not going to release a starter box set.
No, because it's for
but
old
the two
fucks who
models
smoke
that I
meat.
saw
It kind of is. I do like
quite
the
Adeptus
look of the
ridiculous.
Bretonian guy.
the Paladin looks cool. I like the Paladin.
I'll only take him if I can have someone with horseshoe, like the coat next to him, like go for Holy Grail.
And yeah, the Toon King looks good. So I was never much into the Toon Kings. I was
They
all
showed us
Orcs and
2
Goblins
fucking models.
back here. No, but so it's just good to see the vibe they're going for. They do have a different look to them. These models. These look like they could have been ones that were done back in the 90s, probably with a little bit more detail that would have been realistically possible there. So things like belt buckles and stuff like that.
If we're talking,
do it.
If we're talking these 2 models, please tell me we're going to be talking about the really cool model from the same announcement.
Which one's that? Which one is that? The horsey guys?
No, not the horsey guys.
Which one?
No,
What the?
from the Horus Heresy.
Oh right, I
Oh,
thought you meant
the Lancer.
I thought you meant old world stuff.
No, fuck the old world.
The Knights. The Lancer. Isn't it the Lancer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There he is.
That
is
one.
gorgeous.
Yeah, so I'm just playing. Old World looks fun if you've already got a Warhammer army. I was never fussed about Warhammer. I distinctly remember painting 20 High Elves and then failing a leadership roll and all of them dying because they couldn't roll high enough to escape. And it's like, just painted those fucks. And they're just dead. They're just dead.
No, so this is the Lancer Knight plastic kit for 30k. So you can't take this in 40k, or can you? Well, no reason why you couldn't, is there?
You can. You absolutely can. It exists. Apparently, still exists in 4 days. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just got to the Chaos Knights episode of Adeptus Ridiculous. Chaos Knights are really fucking cool. There's I can't remember what they're called, Doom Stalkers or something like that. The ones that are on their own rather than having individual houses. And then there's one that's just killed and so many things and got covered so much blood and gore and flesh. But eventually it had Chaos cultists following it, warping this Chaos Knight. And it didn't realise one day it looked down and the cultists had been all been killed by a bunch of Necron flayed ones, worship this thing. Just absolutely just covered in flesh, living off it almost. It is fucking awesome. And there's one that appears in pools of blood, like a Chaos Knight that just appears from pools of blood. Can't remember what they're called. They've all got really fucking awesome names as well.
Amazing. Yeah, a lot of it's you should really have known that one was going to go to Chaos because it was called,
They've all got names like that as well.
Killmageddon McNastyface.
Have you also seen that that they're also releasing the Siege of Cathonia to the one who's
There's a couple
the
of the characters
Sons
from
of
that,
Horus.
aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're coming out and that sounds pretty good. They look pretty good. So
yeah, nice
that's pretty
models.
exciting.
Nobody actually plays. Does anyone really play 30k? I don't think it's been as popular as they were expecting it to be.
They keep this was the first big announcement since the box set, basically, and since there were a couple of tanks. That we've got some tank commanders for you and stuff like that. Weapons for your dreadnoughts, and we've got really priced sarcophagi for your dreadnoughts as well. It's like no one cares. Like we want cool things. The side of it is that there's only something you can do with Space Marines. Although 40k, they're a damn good fucking try. To be fair, so
yeah. Yeah, it is very space. I mean, I think that they are trying a bit. There's some more like dreadnoughts and stuff in there now, but I mean, the whole point of it is a whole heap of Space Marines. So yeah.
Hey, we see you like your Space Marines in your Space Marine game, so we put more Space Marines into your Space Marine game.
Yeah, but it's the old armor, isn't it? So.
Mm.
And also,
going back to Old World, it does look fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it does look. I mean, I'll be interested to see what they.
Always one of my favourite units.
I
Yeah.
I enjoyed the Old World because of how it was aspects of central medieval Europe, and that was quite fun. The elves were still pompous tits, but at least, I mean, the high elves were. The fact that you could be wood elves was quite good fun. Or I suppose they would be Sylvan Eldari now, or something like that.
They're called, the Eldar are called something different in Age of Sigmar, aren't they? They're not called Eldari. Yeah. They're called Eldar or something like, you know, something copyrightable that's not elves.
Yeah.
So speaking,
like the Orcus or something.
Yeah. Yeah, the orcs are orcs, aren't they?
They look, and they still remain to look some of the most fun because they've got that model. What's it called? I can't do it. My internet's been really, 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 really dodgy. What's it called? Bum bum bum. No, don't sign me up.
I've got no idea what you're talking about. Anyway, in the meantime,
what are you on about? Yeah.
So Age of Sigmar.
Me a second.
I've got.
I'm trying
you keep looking up whatever you're looking up.
You are understand that this is a podcast, right?
Sure. Age of Sigmar, I've got very little interest in, but I do really love this disgusting horse. It's quite an incredible, disgusting horse. Have you seen? It's the. This is the Harbinger of Decay, so like a Nurgle champion, I'm guessing, on just an absolutely rancid horse, which is gorgeous. That does look like it'd be a lot of fun to paint. And it's just absolutely. They've managed to. They can do like drips and slime and stuff on models now, and make it look kind of okay. That was never something you could really do before. But yeah, this guy looks great.
The rise of people that Games Workshop have pissed off enough to leave and do their own YouTube channel is really good for paints. It's worked out really, really well. I love its fucking eyes as well. It's awesome. Yeah, it looks great. That is a really cool model.
It does look cool. There's some other nice nurgly stuff on there. Big naked dwarf with red hair. He looks quite cool.
Always. Yeah.
And an orc that seems to have like a dragon's head on him or something. That looks quite good.
This is the one you were talking about, right, Duncan?
No, they've got something called the Iron Jaws Moorgrunter, which
that's what you were talking about.
Oh no, yeah, I've seen that one. This thing, the giant boar with armor on it that like 3 of them are riding. That is pretty cool. There's like a 40k version of that as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
Which is basically exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's one of the great things about the orcs is it doesn't a lot of the time it doesn't really matter if they're in 40k or Age of Sigmar. It's still basically the same vibe.
I also like that they're encoded transmission incoming for which is clearly for Epic.
Yeah, there's been rumours of that for quite some time, haven't there?
Epic Horus Heresy, yeah. Which is more interesting to me than like regular size models, Horus Heresy.
Yeah, because like
that's what I say.
The whole thing about the Horus Heresy is meant to be like these battles which are sort of in the millions on either side. which you just can't do. You can't do it on a tabletop. Do you remember there was that?
I never got into Epic. I found it.
I never got anything for Epic, but I do. I loved the Titan models. So seeing some new, and also like Epic was cool, but just the level of detail they could get on those soft lead minis meant that they were all basically just cubes. So seeing what modern like Imperator class Titans could look like is quite exciting. That's quite cool.
It's also when you had the bases with all the units on, which were tiny, you could never paint them. There was never any detail. You could probably do that better now, at least. So,
but I think like an epic scale Emperor class Titan is probably about the size of an Imperial Knight.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The Imperator was always like Imperator. Sorry, it was always like. Well,
and in the lore, they've been very vague about the exact size of those things. They can really go with whatever scale they want. But they're the ones who just it's just got a cathedral on its back because why not? Yeah. Cathedral full of guns.
Entire battalion in it as well.
Yeah, pretty cool. What else thought looked cool? Oh, in a bit of a they're still doing that, are they? Kind of a moment. I did really like the Lord of the Rings thing that they revealed. The little the get off the road moment from Fellowship, done as a little sort of really cool modular diorama. So you can remove the horsey guy, the ring wraith, and use him in games that nobody's played for the last 20 years, as far as I'm aware.
Well, they've re-released it.
Yeah, because it's all different. Like they don't look like the film characters anymore. They've remodeled everybody. But this is really nice, and you can kind of dismantle it. Obviously, you can't use the hobbits, but you can use the ring wraith on a standard gaming base.
Now, why would you want to anyway? They're shit.
It does look cool though. This is really nice.
Yeah.
I also quite enjoyed the. See that basically Warhammer Underworld's Weird Hollow seems to be the fantasy, the old world version, fantasy version of Kill Teams.
Yeah.
Or similar.
What the weird?
I like the models
Underworlds is a bit different. It's like
the headsman.
So there's what's it called? Warcry is the Kill Team equivalent for Age of Sigmar. Underworlds is like, I think it's a slightly third-party game. It's not just Games Workshop, and it's got like a board and cards, and it's like one of those types of things.
But there's some nice miniatures. The Headsman's Curse are quite nice spectres, like as a complete unit.
So these are the sort of the ghosty.
There's only one of them that does the
executioner people, aren't they?
Well, it's more. I read it. I was like, that would be quite cool as a D&D thing, because it's essentially a sentient sword that has captured souls around it that carry it around, so that the sword can get blood. Well, just kill, sort of like pass judgment and kill things. Which is quite a cool ghost story. Like, it's got 4 miniatures. One of them is carries the chopping block. One of them carries something to restrain people. One of them carries the judgment, and one of them wields the sword. And you can only do stuff if all 4 are alive. But the miniatures are quite nice. They are really nice. Beautiful.
They look very difficult to paint. You've got to be quite good at like blending. It looks like, and glazing.
And so they're beyond my ken, but you know, they do look very, very nice. I haven't looked at the Warcry shit. Why would I? There's Tyranids to look at and marvel at.
Yeah, I think so. Warcry, it doesn't seem to be sort of as far along as Kill Team, but they've got they're doing it in the same sort of structure. They're called war bands rather than kill teams, but you know, they've got like a starter set coming out, and then new teams coming on in a sort of a season type structure. So the terrain looks really cool. Don't know if you've seen like the I don't know what they're called. The faction, the sort of these kind of weird creaturey type people. I'm not sure who they are. Who are they? Not the Stormcast Sentinels. They're like
Soul Swarm.
They're basically just Space Marines. But yeah, whoever these guys are, the Royal Beast Flayers.
It is the realm.
I don't know. They look pretty cool. They've got like what looks like basically an undead orangutan in there, which is pretty awesome. And yeah, the terrain is really cool. These like rope and bamboo bridges and things. It all looks like it's sort of sinking into a swamp. Does look quite tasty.
Yeah. Agreed.
We've lost Dan because it's essentially a fantasy thing.
Have you? I'm still here. Hello.
No, he's just saying you don't care.
Oh yeah, no, I couldn't give two shits. Like it's not dark enough, and I'm talking about a realm that's been taken over by chaos, and like the ones where the chaos actually win, and it's still not dark enough. 40k is just that kind of like, yeah, it hits the right target, but yeah.
Yeah, 40k. There is no ray of light. Well, you thought it was a ray of light. It was your best mate, and he's on fire. Now deal with it.
It's unrelenting to the point where any kind of humorous moments are hilarious. Quick question: do you know why a Land Raider is called a Land Raider?
Do you know what? I think I'm enough of a dork that I do.
Go on then.
Unless this is a joke and I've completely missed the point.
No, it's not.
Because the guy who found the STC was a guy called Land. So it's not actually the Land Raider, it's the Land '(S) Raider. It's Land's Raider and Land's Speeder. I don't really know why they bothered doing that.
The guy who found them was Ogden Land.
Yeah.
And yeah, the ST, yeah. So it's named after him. Rather than being a raider of land.
Yeah, I really don't know why they bothered doing that. I'm sure there's a good book.
They're
about
taking
it
the piss.
Because they're not all, like, it's not like Lehman Russ found the STC for the tank. Oh, did he? I thought his guys did, and they named it for him.
Yeah, I would imagine that's probably the case. But Argon Land was probably like,
fuck you,
they
named
it after myself.
Found it. Someone didn't.
Oh,
Was it
am I
because
going
it's
to have to
based on
explain
old
STCs?
text and they found it?
Yes, nobody invents anything.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
So you're not allowed.
You're not allowed to. Inventing things is heresy.
So as far as the Mechanicus are concerned, all knowledge exists in the universe. You can go and find it, you can discover it, you can research stuff, but you can't invent new knowledge because that is heresy, and you get the spiky stick treatment.
Yeah,
but
I'm a big fan of heresy.
So yeah, they can't just go and invent a tank, but they can find the STC template to make a tank that was around in the Dark Age technology.
There was the story about the Imperial Guardsmen that found the machine that makes knives for Space Marines, and they got given a planet to themselves because this thing was so important, because they finally found something that made a knife big enough for Space Marines.
Yeah, so whenever they actually find one of these things, so they're basically like 3D printing files, aren't they? Except more intelligent. But what's like? I've never quite understood when you, you find an STC template. What actually makes it? Is there like a machine that you plug this USB stick into and it starts spitting out tanks or something?
I assume it's you plug it into a machine.
Like a fabricator type
this
thing.
Was in. I remember reading this about it in the Mechanicus bit at the Warhammer wiki thing, the 40k wiki, and they were talking about these old data. Yeah, it's the old data files. So it is from the age of technology before the darkness.
Because these machines are like they're basically AIs, except nobody would ever admit that. Because they can
because that's heresy.
Yeah, but they can.
Abominable
intelligence. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Just the that thing that Belisarius Cool, who obviously has invented a whole shitload of new stuff.
He doesn't give a shit.
Denies everything.
Because He's got Guilliman on his side, so like he doesn't care. So, like, he invented that Primaris Marines.
What is quite clearly an AI to talk to Guilliman all the time.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
No, I'm not an AI. No. He simply thought about every possible thing anyone might ever say and recorded all of them, and that's what I'm playing back to you. Nice.
I love the fact they just kind of let Belisarius Cole be Belisarius Cole as well. Just let him get on with it.
If you want to reinvent your Space Marine range, there's kind of not really any other way of doing it, is there?
Yeah.
Because he
unless you find
an
STC that just says bigger Marines.
Yeah. Oh, it's convenient actually, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of, let's have a look at the
bigger Marines
box set, which is really, really tasty.
Are we going to go Marines then Nids or vice versa?
Yeah.
I'll just sort of go down the page and see what we've got. So if you want to scroll along with me, I'm just going down the main 40k Leviathan what's in the box page. So this is quite interesting because you don't really need the box at all.
No.
If you don't want it.
Which is handy because you won't be able to get hold of one.
You probably won't be able to get hold of one. But it's a gorgeous box, and if it is 150 quid, which looks like it will be, it's pretty reasonable value. I wouldn't buy it because I don't need all these Tyranids and Space Marines. But if you want them, it's in terms of what you actually get in the box, it's quite impressive. You get more in here than you do in most kind of launch boxes.
From what I understand, that it's basically got 2 combat patrols in it. So so it's going to have. So when I would imagine at some point they may even release these individually as Tyranid combat patrol and Space Marine combat patrol.
Yeah, probably.
So it's roughly 500 points. Yeah.
So going through the Marines, so obviously, of course, they've done them all up as Ultramarines, but they're all they're not chapter specific. You could do these guys as whoever you want.
It's meant to come with everything that you need to do all the chapters.
By that they mean a massive honking great sheet of transfers, which they've got in the box there. So I mean, it's always a promise. Things like this is that they don't have those sculpted details that make them unique to your chapter, but there's not really any other way of doing it.
No.
So we've got Captain in Terminator armor. He's pretty cool. I mean,
I love this because the head is like a proper 90s, almost Space Crusade throwback. He looks like
exactly like the Imperial Fist captain on the front of the 40k box that I had.
Yes. Yeah.
But he's looking good. And so we finally got some Primaris Terminators. So Terminators who are actually big again.
Do you think he's got enough oaths at the moment as well?
Yeah, they're really into those, aren't they?
Yeah. He's got a lot to do in this battle.
I think maybe some of it's just really I will go into work and write myself a to-do list of 30 things, but 15 of them are basically get your pen out, go for a coffee, just so you got some stuff to tick off.
Yeah. My favourite thing is the cape just kind of seems to be haphazardly pinned round his waist.
That's all you need, isn't it? The Librarian, this guy's awesome.
It might be one of the best models they've released in a really long time.
He's got a lush tash. He's got glowy runes all over him, which is a style that's not a sort of style that they've really shown for Librarians and Space Marines before. They might have had a bit of the odd glowy eye and maybe a sort of bit of lightning on the sword, but he looks almost more sort of those are Eldari runes on his shin pad there, aren't they? So I don't know what's going on there.
The axe is wonderful as well.
But he looks
the detail is exquisite.
I mean, again, obviously this guy would be a bastard to paint without an airbrush and a considerable amount of skill, because doing a glow effect without an airbrush is very difficult.
You could was it pin ink or whatever it is, pin shading?
Yeah, you could. So
or
you could
it
do
would
that
be pin highlights, I suppose, in this instance.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. In the thing, but then you need you probably want to use white ink or something, because otherwise it'd be very difficult to get in there. But good model. This is a really nice guy.
One of my favourites in this is actually the apothecary biologist. It's not just because it's a biologist.
He's up next.
We'll get to there. We're going down the list.
He's next.
Yeah,
This one.
Is he?
This one
I thought it was
really
Lieutenant
nice.
with Combi Flamer was next.
No.
I'm on the
That's
wrong
what we
bit.
missed
Okay,
one.
fair enough. Cool.
Yeah,
No,
Russ
good,
is looking
good.
at the box set. When you look at the actual breakdown, the individual page for Space Marines, he's not next.
Yeah, this guy is
Marines.
really cool. He's got his little canister for catching bugs in there.
Does he heal people? Does he fuck?
Well, I think he probably does do some.
No, he doesn't.
But apparently, he's got a gun.
He doesn't heal people. Yeah, okay. Well, he heals people with the gun.
Oh no, he doesn't heal. Oh, sorry, I said, does he
No,
kill
yeah.
people? It's like, no, he doesn't do that. He's not a medic.
So
from
it
what I
sounds
understand-
like you'll be able to sort of research your enemy, and presumably, it's basically like every time he kills somebody, if you spend a couple of actions on doing research on them, you can then get a buff for the whole army that makes them easier to hit or easier to wound or something.
Also, what a great idea to have a few pouches in your loincloth for some scissors.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
what you
class.
you want. Sharp implements flapping around loose near your testicles. That's
I mean,
pretty
yeah.
much. That's what you tell children to do. Don't run with scissors. Put them in a loose loincloth. Now
Well, plus
run.
side, his
I mean,
grand's
you
arm
ask
will
him
protect
that.
him. Yeah.
With that color scheme and I've only really just thought about it, but it does almost look like Ultramarines are all cults, Indianapolis Colts supporters.
Yeah.
That one there looks like a bullshit.
There are-
Okay,
there
so
are
yes, do you
definite
want to talk
similarities.
The logo's not even that dissimilar, is it? Thinking about it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he's really nice, this guy. Obviously, painting him all white, very difficult. That's why nobody collects white scars. In fact, they're the coolest chapter. But
If and I am tempted, but if I go Space Marines ever, it's white scars.
they're so hard to paint.
I don't care.
So
Gotta go
hard.
fast.
Or just like fucking spray them white, dot, eyes, done.
Spray them white. Null oil, right?
We'll get
whole
the
thing.
have you seen the army painter like dips you can get? You literally just go blup, blup, shake, done.
Fucking amazing. I love that. Yeah, and then just paint back over it white.
Yeah, but it's
White base coat. In fact, maybe you don't go white base coat. Maybe you go like
you probably
like
don't
a light
go
grey.
white base coat. I am no expert in any of this, but I'm imagining you don't go white base, because if you go white base coat, you've got nowhere to go from there.
no.
So you'd want to go probably a grey base coat, I'm guessing. For,
Yeah, you can't go black
for something like
because
this.
white's a bitch to paint on black. but
Well,
yeah.
you'd end up it's like 50 layers of it.
I agree. I think it looks like I mean, obviously they've put some shading in, but the way the white is looking,
It's probably a blue, actually, thinking about it, isn't it?
Well,
Probably like
there'll
a
be some
grey
colour
blue.
mixed in there as well. Yeah, I mean, obviously he's very nicely painted here, but yeah, trying to churn out an army of white painted armour would be very difficult.
Gotta go
who's
fast,
next? The lieutenant in Phobos armour. Pretty cool. I mean, he's a Space Marine lieutenant. There's loads of those knocking about at the moment.
Yeah, but he's got a combi flamer,
Yeah.
and it's also the detail that he's got alien chitin carapace down his
Yeah.
shoulder. That's
Yeah.
his really
Isn't
cool.
that heresy though?
Yeah, I can't see the especially the Ultramarines. Like, I don't think that's Codex compliant, is it? Fixing
No.
your armor with plates of Tyranid scale.
But he's
But
a lone
it
wolf.
looks cool.
Is it Rise of Horus that Lucius gets told off for?
Lucius gets
For,
told
uh,
off for using an
Yeah.
enemy arm as a sword, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But then the guy that tells him off is a prick.
It's who is it? It's fucking the Emperor's Children one that takes all the credit for stuff he doesn't do.
Eidolon.
What's it? Eidolon, yeah. What a bellend. Gets everyone in a ton
Emperor's
of
Children.
difficult situations.
What a bunch of bellends.
But fucking awesome. They're my favourite Chaos chapter. Except for Iron Warriors. Because just, Pacharabo!
But
He's so mad at
Fulgrim is
everyone.
brilliant, just like lounging around in his toga eating grapes, getting noshed off by a demon, while everyone's like stomping around trying to be all serious about stuff.
Have you read Fulgrim yet?
Yeah, it's really
Not
good.
Fulgrim. Yeah. It's fucking awesome.
Bit
so
much.
it's, yeah.
Not one to have on audiobook in the kitchen while the kids are having breakfast.
No, by all means, that you definitely should, because they need to realise what goes into a true painting.
What's Fulgrim's book? Is it called?
It's just called Fulgrim. There's a great bit with so you know the Emperor's Children are like all about perfection and excess. There's a great bit with one of the painters, one of the remembrances that's following them around, and she's just trying to get the right colours, like the vibrancy of the right colours. So she starts using her own blood at one point, and then it gets progressively worse from there. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
They are a chaos chapter.
Oh yes,
because sometimes it's hard to tell.
This is sort of technically pre-chaos, but yeah.
I don't know when they're having the giant murder orgy in the opera house.
That's very much the line, wasn't it? In the morning after,
chaos.
Like, oh, I need an Alka-Seltzer, and well, I guess we're chaos now. There's no coming back from that, really, is there?
What fun!
Let's just workshop this. Let's get the PR guys in here. But I think we're chaos now. I think we're just going to have to own this and move forwards with our lives.
All these people we fucked to death. Just it's. I wish I was joking.
Going back to the model, this lieutenant in Phobos armor.
How did we get
Just
to
getting us
Emperor's
back on
Children
track.
from that?
Because we were talking about whether having a piece of chitin as armor.
Oh,
with,
yeah.
An amazing detail
Lucius,
of acid coming off the dagger. This model, you can have 3 daggers. It comes with 3 knives. It's great. I think it's great.
Yeah, he's got one in each hand, and then one just sort of stuck in a Tyranid head on the floor.
Yeah.
So that is quite nice. I'm not that much of a fan of ones where they have a dead enemy on the floor, though, because fine if you're fighting the Tyranids, but when you take the same model and you're fighting the Eldar, looks a bit silly.
But he's meant to be like the lieutenant that is fought many Tyranids.
But like if he's got an actual dead Tyranid on the floor that he's standing on, if you're then in a battle against someone else, it's like it really looks like you brought that Tyranid head with you, put it on the floor specifically so that you could stand heroically on it and look cool. And that, Jeffrey, is a dick move.
He's even got like a Tyranid claw around his waist as well, looking at it.
Yeah.
He has, hasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, he's got too many mementos.
It's fucking heresy, I tell you.
Well, he's meant to infiltrate a head.
Right, moving on. I really like these guys, the Sternguard veterans. These guys are pretty tight. So they're not Terminators, but they're just like first company badasses. They've got really cool weapons. And there's a guy who's got an old school helmet on, despite the fact that he's now a Primaris Marine, which is cool, and it makes sense for veterans.
And I love how much of a finger up that is to most of the fans, which is that Space Marines are just this size now. Which one's Primaris or Firstborn? Yes, they're just this size now. Deal with it.
But his helmet is a little bit small. It's not as small as if you took an actual old school helmet and put it on one of these guys, it would look stupid. Yeah. But his helmet is a little bit smaller than the Primaris helmets. They've got the cool new weapons. They look really good.
They've got a combi. There's a combi weapon in there as well. The combi pulse, combi
plasma thing. We've got looks like a combi flamer type guy. These are bolt rifles that they've got, aren't they?
I do miss the old helmets as well. I will mention that.
I prefer the old helmets to the Primaris ones, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah. They look more evil.
They just look like they're pissed off with a lot more, don't they?
I miss the beaky ones as well. Beaky ones are cool as well.
Beakies are cool.
Yeah.
Isn't that what you get in the Horus?
Yeah. Because that was peaky beaky time. They were all beakies back then.
Beaky blinders.
Beakies. This is one of the best things in the box, the Terminator squad. Finally, some big Terminators, Primaris scale, and they're just awesome.
Do you know what I love about it? Is that they didn't really change a great deal.
They look. I'm glad about that. Like they're looking exactly the same. They've got the sort of weird wolfy helmets.
Yeah.
These are just old school Terminators, but bigger and more detailed and in better poses. Yeah. And they're awesome.
I think it's like it's just like it's sharper because obviously the lead it became rounder, and I think you can always get the the mold details that you needed and made it tricky, annoying to paint sometimes. But these look like they did in the game, like in in Space Hulk. They just look so good.
Well, they look like they can actually move, for starters, like the old school ones.
And they're not, because most of the ones were just in this standing position.
Yeah, they're very. Yeah, these guys. I mean, this is a squad that I'd be very tempted to get just to paint them up.
What would you paint them up as, Russ?
I think it may be salamanders. I like the salamanders.
Fucking cool. Like salamanders, they're the only good guys, like of the actual Space Marines. Like the one, they still burn a lot of people. They're the only ones that are like actually concerned about human life, is what I mean. But yeah,
yeah, I like the salamanders. I do really like the white scars, but yeah, it's too difficult. And then we've got, so I'm going to skip through the rest of the Marines. So we've got, there's like the Inferno squad. They're just Space Marines, but they've all got flamers.
Apparently they're fucking awesome. Apparently they are really good in combat. So.
I'm guessing they're very
effective
against.
They are based on
like,
the Black Templars, because everyone liked the Pyroblasters in the Black Templars, and therefore they included these. And they were like, well, you all like the Black Templars. Here you go. You've got something that you can do similar with.
Mm-hmm.
Ballistus Dreadnought. So this is a new model of Dreadnought. It looks pretty cool. Bit more like length in the leg than you've previously seen.
People have been saying that he's missed leg day, but yeah.
Well, he's got big skinny legs and basically no arms at all. Just sort of massive shoulders with missiles coming out of them.
But it does look like one of the old school Dreadnoughts. This is why I quite like this box.
But the old school ones basically didn't have any legs. They had just these little stumps coming out the bottom, and they were effectively cubes. Whereas this looks, I'm guessing you'll have a bit of flexibility in how you pose it as well, because they're quite good at that sort of thing these days. So I think that was quite good.
Yeah.
Right, moving on to the bug side of the team. There's some really nice stuff in
I think this is possibly the most exciting side, right?
Yeah, there's some really cool stuff in it, and it's just so good to see the Tyranids actually getting some cool models. Again, I'm probably not going to get this box because there's fucking hundreds of them, and they look very difficult to paint, but there's some really nice ones. So the Winged Tyranid Prime as the main kind of your HQ, I'm guessing. Although they've completely changed the way list building works, haven't they? So I don't think you really have.
So this is I don't think it is an HQ. Because I think the Neurotox is an HQ. What primes are like almost. I think they lead squads, although everything just leads squads in this edition. Think about it. So yeah.
But yeah,
it's the first time I think that the Tyranids have had a model like the Prime. They haven't had this individual kind of large. I think it's a larger.
It's certainly the first time they've had one like this that looks good.
Yeah,
some of the old Tyranid models were disgraceful.
Yeah.
This guy, it's just got spikes everywhere. Loads of spikes. Run out of room for spikes. Put a spike on his forehead.
Yeah.
Lovely stuff. And then this is I think this might be the coolest thing in the box. The Neuro Tyrant.
It looks incredible.
This looks.
I can't believe this is in like a starter box.
Yeah, this is very, very cool. It's a giant floating brain with tentacles.
Yeah,
really nicely done. How they've made it look like it's flying, which again would have been impossible to do with lead. That would have just gone.
Yeah, you'd be gluing this together every time you had the audacity to try moving it 6 inches.
Yeah.
So yeah,
really, really awesome. Just with the massive brain, it looks like something out of Starship Troopers, like the brain bugs at the end.
I was thinking this is quite Cronenberg as well. This is very like body horror kind of thing. Yeah,
I think this is what they were aiming for with Tyranids in the first place, but they just couldn't do it, and now they can.
Absolutely, it looks fucking incredible.
And it's just got a couple of little pet brains that hang out with it, float along by the side.
Because why not?
Why not? Just get brains flying around.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think this is the best model like they released of the announcements.
I disagree. We haven't spoken about what I think is the best model yet.
Sorry,
but
there are some other
I do really like it.
Here. But yeah, this is absolutely
Oh, is that the
gorgeous.
Screamer Killer?
Spoilers, but yeah. Sure.
Oh, look at him. So I had the old Carnifex, and it was basically a tennis ball.
Yeah.
Like, it was shit, really.
I mean, look at this cunt. He is
He's
fucking
so
awesome.
hench. Like, you don't normally see Tyranids looking this built, but this guy is cut.
Genuinely terrifying as well.
Yeah.
Like, he looks really scary. I love it.
Really, really cool. It's quite a simple kind of concept, really, that you feel like they could have gone a bit over with this, but it's just focused on those massive arms and the scream.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And you can tell it's screaming as well. That's the best thing about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it looks like there's so much tension in his arms. Oh, it's really, really
Well, he looks like he's
sculpted.
about to rip those Marines to shreds.
Got absolute, like, the head looks straight out of Predator. Like, not the face, but the head.
Yeah.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah, I agree. Fucking awesome.
And it feels like it's been a very long time coming for there to be a good Carnifex model.
Yeah.
But yeah, this guy's incredible. And then we've got a few more. So the Von Ryan's Leapers, these are basically lictors. Slightly different. Look, they're pretty cool. Not as cool as the Carnifex, though.
Yeah, if they're like lictors as well, they'll infiltrate as well, which will be quite cool, and they'll probably cause quite a bit of damage. So.
Then you've got the various
from the description of them, they're
Gans
basically exactly the same as a lictor.
Yeah.
Like, they're ones that they'll turn up a good few weeks before the main Hive Fleet, won't they?
Yeah.
And just be out there causing fuss.
I like the description of whoever Von Ryan was, the unfortunate Von Ryan who discovered these. He at least got it back before he probably got ripped to shreds.
GW had a bit of a sense of humour recently. Did you see that Facebook post?
Oh, the
hilarious.
You knew here.
Oh, great, more Marines. You knew here. just absolutely cracked me up.
And then the rest of the box is they've got some gaunts. So the I've always called them termagants, but I've seen people call them termagaunts. I'm going to stick with termagants because that's what I always called them in my head.
The termagants, because the gaunts are the Neuro and the Barb.
But anyway,
so you've got the Neuro and the Barb gaunts. You've got. I just realised there is another model that looks fucking awesome as well. And yeah, the new termagants are really cool as well.
They're really cool. I mean, they're very, very similar to the old ones. Obviously, just much nicer models. The Neurogaunts. I don't know why they not like if they're Neurogaunts. Why aren't these termagaunts? They should all be the same because they're basically the same. Anyway, these are creepy ass mole looking motherfuckers.
They are
really, really nice concept with the parasites like biting into the brains on their back. These are good.
I like the fact that they're all parasitic, like the both Neurogaunts and the Barb Gaunts have these parasites. The Barb Gaunts with their biocannons, so they're kind of like artillery, aren't they?
The Barb Gaunts
necessarily artillery
are the most uncomfortable looking model in the whole thing. I think. Yeah, they genuinely look like they're having a really rough time.
These are quite horrible, aren't they? Yeah.
Love it.
Ganglio parasites.
Yeah, really cool models.
And then
we got rid of the psychic phase, but we all do now have.
This guy's pretty cool, actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
Psychophage.
Dan says, but Dreadnought is built like Donkey Kong or Johnny Bravo. Yeah, yes. Some people have a complaint that it looks like the Dreadnought's got a bit of a beer gut. The new style Dreadnoughts have got a bit of a beer gut.
Yeah, but that beer gut is full of missiles.
Yeah,
so
true.
It's fine. This thing's actually really, really cool.
Yeah.
Quite an unusual. Like this is quite different to how most of the Tyranids are portrayed.
Yeah.
It's all arse, this thing, but it's pretty good.
It really is. Oh, I love the model though. One of my favourite things about the model is that in one of his little mandibles, he's got like a marine arm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's like a marine's arm, and there's like I think there's somebody's leg over on the other side there as well.
Oh, that's really fucking cool.
And so the idea, this just like scuttles around eating everything, especially psychers, and then it sort of burns them, and then pumps out the ash of the people it's just eaten in a big cloud that affects people negatively.
Love Tyranids.
Yeah.
They're so
kind of want to
weird.
play them now,
Yeah.
and that means that we'll get a. I mean, from this, we'll get a nice kill team at some point.
Possibly. I would hope so.
I'd be amazed if they don't have a Tyranid kill team coming at some point. I mean, you know.
Did someone say bespoke Grey Knights? No one said bespoke Grey Knights.
Or Dan.
I want some bespoke Grey Knights. Marine armors for scale. Absolutely, yes, it is. Yeah, I love it. So yeah.
So that was the big one. The big one, the Leviathan reveal. That was kind of to cap off the whole thing. It remains to be said. It's not beyond the realms of possibility that they'll make about 4 of these boxes. So
yeah, if they are reasonably readily available, I'm quite tempted. I'm not going to lie.
I wouldn't. I'm not going to get that because I just don't need an army. I'd rather have little small sets of things to collect and
Russ. I mean, you're basically nearing a Sisters of Battle, aren't you? Let's be honest.
I'm probably nearing a Sisters of Battle boarding patrol.
Yeah.
So,
fair enough.
But I don't want to start collecting armies of things.
No, me neither. I've got 3,000 odd points of Imperial Guard, and I'm nearing 2,000 points of Grey Knights.
So that's
in
armies.
Boxes. Yeah, in boxes. For the latter there.
But when the kill teams get released, I think I'm probably going to get the Leagues of Votan one. I'm definitely going to get the Arbites.
The Leagues of Votan one is the one I'm the most tempted by.
Yeah.
The Arbites are cool because they come with a little dog.
They do come with the doggo. Interested to see where they go with the rest of with the next season of Kill Team.
Yeah.
We need some Eldar, and probably could do with being another Space Marine team.
Dan's got a point because I was with Dan when he bought these. Collect Custodes, right?
It's tempting, but there's only like 4 models for the Custodes.
Yes, congratulations, you've got a boarding patrol nearly there.
That's your army.
So like you need 7 for like a boarding patrol.
Yeah.
The boarding patrol box.
If you wanted more, there just aren't that many models.
But then you've got the Sisters of Silence as well. You've got the jet bike people.
Yeah. No, I think I'm happy to. I'm going to stick mainly. I think kill teams are a good. They're just like nicely snackable content for painting, and especially the ones where it's a proper varied kill team because you get very different models rather than just 10 of the same person. So I think I'm probably going to stick with that. But yeah, maybe with the odd cheap eBay Sisters of Battle thing added in. I'd quite like.
I think that's the trick.
I would like one of their ridiculous tanks with a church built into it.
The Exorcist.
Yeah, or the Triumph of St. Catherine, which is
God,
insane.
I love that.
Yeah.
I never see that cheap anywhere. Tricky with something like that is to buy a really crappily painted one and then strip it.
There is also Forge World stuff for Custodes. There you go, Russ.
Yeah, true. I just don't think I'm gonna. They're too. I don't find the Custodes very interesting. I know they've tried to make them interesting, but they basically don't have personalities.
No, they're the Emperor's protectors. Their lack of personality is their personality.
Yeah,
they got more of a personality than the Thousand Sons mostly.
I do just find them a bit boring, to be honest.
Do you know who's got a surprising personality in 40k? Necrons.
Yeah, they have
Necrons
now. I've been really
awesome.
enjoying learning a bit more about the Necrons because back when I was playing 40k, the Necrons were literally just Terminators.
Yeah.
As in
they've worked really hard to develop them to have a character because they were a bit dull originally when they first came out. They were a bit shit.
Yeah, like the whole point of them was that they were just this unknowing, soulless nothing. But yeah, they're actually quite interesting now.
Yeah,
and they're very like pulling the levers behind the scenes.
Yeah, Trazen the Infinite is one of my favourite characters in it.
He's very funny.
Yeah,
just popping up.
He just goes
Yoink!
Collecting things.
It's mine now.
Puts someone in stasis.
Yeah. He is hilarious, and I love him. But yeah, right. We've been waffling for a while now.
We have indeed.
Well, we did start a wee bit late.
We did.
So that was the highlights of Warhammer Fest 23. Yeah, some really cool stuff. Well, not going to get in most of it because nobody needs that, but definitely some stuff that are going to be picking up in there. And
I'm really tempted by the 40k box. If it's, they reckon they're making a lot of them, and if they are, say if I rock up at like 9:05 or whatever it is, the time they put the pre-orders on, and there's some left. I don't know, maybe I don't know. It's good value if you want a Space Marine army and a Tyranid army. But I just don't think I want loads of Space Marines. So I'm probably going to avoid it and just get a shitload of kill teams that I don't need instead.
I have realised I'm just a bit frustrated that I would do it because it would be a great way to gain the boys into 40k. Because like, look, 2 armies you can have fight, but they're all a bit young, and by the time they're old enough, we'll be on the 20th edition or something.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
But
it's a tricky thing to start getting your kids into. When you're like, I'm really concerned about them watching.
You're painting it wrong.
This show on YouTube, it's not quite. There's not enough sort of progressive ideas in there. I really want to get them back onto the CBBC stuff. Also, space fascists. Yeah,
no one's nice. Stop painting them nice.
Yes, that is the space fascists are sort of the good. It's a bit complicated, but they're basically the goodies. Oh, you don't want to know about the baddies.
Dan says with the 9th edition, did they immediately sell out the pre-orders but then committed to producing them to order after everyone kicked up a stink? My guess would be that they're just going to sell out, judging by everything else they've released.
They kind of screwed up with the 9th edition, but I think with 8th edition they had shit. They did way too many of them, and they ended up sort of struggling to get rid of them. So I don't know. I imagine they've put quite a lot of thought into this. They won't want this whole thing to be overshadowed with negative PR. So we'll see.
Yeah. Should we call it a night?
Let's wrap this mother up. That is us done for the week. If you let me smoothly find my little button that brings up the social media overlay. There it is. So, if you have anything to chuck in our direction, hit us up at TMTOOH on all the usuals. What?
I don't know. I just like pulling my face. Sorry.
There we go. In the meantime, Dan, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Duncan.
Seriously, thank you.
Adieu.
Adieu to you and you and you.
Indeed.
And by that last you, I mean people who watched and listened. Thank you.
As ever, the Emperor protects, and I need someone to say cue the music so I can hit the little button that gets us out of here.
Cue the music.